Well, we're finally back with Castlevania. I told myself I would redo Metal Gear after I've reviewed Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Not to mention I'm planning to start Legacy of Kain next month, so I'll have my hands full of vampires for a little bit. But if you want your taste of Castlevania, there's Bloodstained, which I haven't tried yet, and there's the Castlevania Netflix show, which came out with its third season, and it largely adapts this game. But how can it adapt this game considering it barely has any story? Well, that's a story for another time. For now, let's cover Castlevania III Dracula's Curse, starting with the story. Well, I can't read this prologue because of the broken English, but let's just say Dracula lived in Eastern Europe. He went about his daily life until he met a woman named Lisa. Lisa spoke to Dracula and managed to worm her way in. The two fell in love and married and had a child named Adrian Tepes. But one day, the villagers got wind of Lisa's practices of medicine and believed she was practicing witchcraft. So she was burned at the stake. In his grief, Dracula attacked and began to slaughter the people of Europe.
And now, I bring your death.
But fortunately there is hope. The Belmont clan, who have been exiled by the church, have committed themselves to hunting monsters.
The Belmonts fought monsters, son. So I'm told.
But at the end of the day, despite being excommunicated from the church, the Belmonts will go out and do what's right, because that's what Belmonts do.
I'm Trevor Belmont, and dying has never frightened me.
Along the way, Trevor is joined by three allies: Sypha Belnades, a speaker magician, Grant Dynasty, who is not in the Netflix show for some reason, and Alucard, Dracula's son, who opposes him. This is the prequel, so this is the first time Dracula was ever defeated. Until they tried to say that it actually happened in Castlevania Legends, but then they retconned that game out of canon, so yeah, that's a story for another time. Before we begin, I recommend entering the name HELP ME, which will give 10 lives instead of the usual 4, and you will be needing every single one of them. Trust me. I gotta say, it's all 8-bit, but the environments are really amazing in Castlevania. They really invoke that horror feeling. Castlevania 3 goes back to Castlevania 1, which is just get to the end of the stage and don't die. Castlevania 2 was something of an early Metroidvania. The reaction to Castlevania 2 was considerably more mixed, so I imagine they wanted to go back to what worked, and this game is regarded as the best of the 3 Castlevanias on the NES. And it is also the hardest. Oh god, is it hard! Let's talk about each of the characters real quick and how they stack up. Trevor is the character you always have. He plays like Simon in that he can't control his jumps in mid-air. Like Simon, he can upgrade his whip, and you're definitely going to want to keep that as long as you can. Grant is fast, he can climb on ceilings, and he can actually control his jumps in mid-air. My only real complaint about Grant is his knife attack is pathetically short-ranged. I hear it's better in the Famicom version. Sypha is all about magic. She's slow and can't take a hit, but she makes up with it with her spells. When powered up, they are awesome. Flame attacks, magic spears, or freeze enemies and then shatter them. It makes her very useful against tough boss battles. Alucard, yes, that Alucard, is probably the weakest of all the party members. His main attack is shooting a ball of destruction that can be upgraded to 3 at a time, but he can turn into a bat, which allows him to cheese through certain areas. By pushing the select button, you can switch between your character on the fly. And there are times where their separate abilities come in handy, but of course every character shares the same life bar. Also, there is no way to get all 4 on the team at once. You can only have one partner, meaning if you already have a partner when you meet someone else, you have to say goodbye to that person for this playthrough. I really wish there was a way to have all 4, but I guess that's due to memory limitations. There's also no way you can counter both Sypha and Alucard on the same playthrough unless you're doing a New Game Plus. What I will say about this game's challenge, they definitely made up for Castlevania 2. Each level is divided into sections. Once you get through a door, that means you've hit a checkpoint, so if you die from there, you restart at this point in the level, meaning don't get killed. As time goes on, you get more and more frustrated with the challenge. Look how much damage one hit does to you. In this game, your biggest enemy is not Dracula, not Death, not the Medusa heads, but the stairs. The stairs. You are totally vulnerable when you're on the stairs. You can't aim up or down. Not only that, but it gets even worse when you have the ground disappearing, so you have to take the stairs or else you will die. What's also back is the knockback. So you get hit, you are knocked backwards, and chances are there's a pit waiting for you to send you to your doom. What Castlevania 3 does do is that you have a choice between an upper path and a lower path, which adds replay value to the game massively. You may want to check out the path that you didn't take the first time. The Alucard path is definitely the hardest path, as I remember my reaction when I found the part of the game where you have to dodge falling pieces of blocks. I was like, are you kidding me? You want me to dodge all these blocks, get to the top, and not die? Your timing must be perfect. If you die before you enter that door, you gotta do this all over again. Even if you go the other way, you gotta fight a boss that runs away. Avoid the water and fight him again, but this time finish him off. It's all so tense and exhilarating.
Would you please leave my testicles alone?
However, there's something I learned with Castlevania III, and with these old games in general. Failure is what teaches you. You keep failing, and you get better. You get into a groove. You don't want the game to win, so you find yourself dodging every attack, perfectly in sync with the controller and your reflexes. One time when I was doing a Trevor and Alucard path, I got knocked down as Trevor and was falling to certain death, but I was able to switch to Alucard and use his bat form to save myself. That's quite impressive if I do say so myself. The bosses? Yeah, they're hard, especially when you have to fight an entire gauntlet of them, making sure you don't get hit. Death is one of the easier incarnations. It's actually possible for me to beat him in a straight up fight this time. But the doppelganger, oh god, he'll mimic your every move, so what you want to do is stand on the edge, switch your character to Trevor, so while he is transforming, you can blast him in midair and make him fall to the lower level. Once you defeat him, you'll finally move on to Dracula. Oh boy, Dracula's level, do not lose your patience. Get down the stairs, and then immediately when the ground starts cracking, you just keep going and going. Jump over the enemy at the door, take the damage, just get inside to the checkpoint. There's a piece of wall meat below there, pick that up, make sure the red skeleton is facing the other way so you can kill him without getting damaged, then you get to the swinging bells. The English version didn't think that this was very hard, so they added bats that could disrupt your jump pattern. You gotta pray that your luck doesn't run out here. So finally, at long last, you are at the grand staircase where Dracula awaits. Dracula's first form is pretty easy. Make sure you're standing far enough away from him so the fires are a workable distance, hit him with your whip, and dodge the middle flame. Once that's done, he turns into 5 heads, like a Quintesson from Transformers. This thing is pretty easy to predict. You just have to know when to move and when to attack. The only thing that makes this so frustrating is that you don't start at the staircase, you just start at the other room. Use that to build up hearts. He has a third form, he turns into the devil! Kind of appropriate since he is basically Castlevania's Satan. No, really, that's true! The platforms will rise and you must hit him on the jewel. Make sure you stand just to the left of his hand, therefore his energy blast will always miss you. You finally kill Dracula, but don't fall in the pit, and yes, I did it! I beat Castlevania III. Yes, I did get all 4 endings. Trevor and Sypha get married, Alucard feels guilty about killing his own father, and Grant does stuff. But the Belmont's name has been cleared. So ends the tale of Dracula's first defeat, but not the last. So that's Castlevania III, Dracula's Curse. What do I think? Despite it being a hard game, it's a great game. It really tests your gamer cred. If you want to get into Castlevania, you gotta try this game. And that ending music that plays when you win, so satisfying. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please hit that bell, like, and subscribe button. If you want updates, follow me on Twitter or join my Discord, which are provided in the description below. See you next time.